That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Welcome once again to the Dr. Sky Experience, heard exclusively here on Talk Radio 77 WABC, broadcasting out of New York, around the nation, around the world, and I'm quite confident around the cosmos. The Dr. Sky Experience as we talk here on the crown jewel of radio. Yes, sit back and relax as we talk about serious events in the world of astronomy, space, aviation, and weather, with occasional interviews from American exceptionalism, as we talk about truth, justice, and the American way, like many here on Talk Radio 77 WABC. Welcome to Sky Events Calendar number 21, as we wrap up April 2023 and move into month number 5, talking with you about some great things that you can experience in our wonderful daytime and nighttime skies. We find the moon as its new phase on the 20th, and on the opposite side of the Earth, an amazing hybrid total eclipse of the sun. What is that? One of the rarest of all types of eclipses, one that we need to talk about in some detail. For lucky observers in Australia and Indonesia and out into the Pacific Ocean, you start to see the eclipse as an annular eclipse, meaning a ring of fire is still visible around the edges of the moon, dangerous to look at, but with proper solar filters, a joy to see. And then, as the eclipse path moves around the world, it transitions from annular back briefly to total, and that's due to changes in the orbit of the moon with the Earth, a very rare event indeed. As we talk about other eclipses for us here in the United States, if you're listening and pay particular attention to those, we find we have an annular eclipse of the sun on Saturday, October the 14th of 2023, visible in the northwest portions of the United States, visible as it moves down toward Arizona and the Four Corners, and then deep into the heart of Texas, an annular eclipse. But what could be better than what I'm about to describe? And that is the grand American total solar eclipse. Get ready for it, less than a year away on April the 8th of 2024, and we'll be talking so much more about that on the Dr. Sky Experience. But for today's Sky Events Calendar number 21, we encourage you to check out skymaps.com, where you can download your very own free star chart and follow along with us, just in case that is, you're not capable of doing that with a smartphone, and not everybody has one, we understand. During this last period of April 2023, we find out that another meteor shower takes place. One of the better meteor showers of the year, as we start to do 2023 in detail, is the Lyrid meteor shower. Look to the northeast sky on the evening of the 22nd of April into the morning of the 23rd if you have clear skies, because the moon will not interfere. And there is the Lyrid meteor shower, brought to us by a comet known as Comet Thatcher, one of the oldest of all meteor showers. But always truth here on the Dr. Sky Experience. Don't expect to see hundreds of these meteors, and those who live in cities will see virtually few, if any. But for everybody else that has dark and clear skies, you'll be seeing a star rising in the northeast sky right around midnight. That's the blue star Vega, the constellation Lyra, where the Lyrid meteors originate. At best, you may get to see upwards of 10 or 15 of these so-called shooting stars. Fascinating stories. And in the news, we find out that the Japanese space probe that went to the asteroid Ryugu, bringing back material, has also detected organic compounds, some of the building blocks of RNA, and also B3. This is fascinating. Why do we talk about this? Because comets may have seeded life in the entire universe by a process called panspermia, and maybe some of these asteroids that we see were dormant comets from a long time ago. So if you see any of these so-called shooting stars, know that you may be seeing what delivered life to the planets, not just Earth, but many, I'm sure, out in the cosmos. We find out on the 23rd that the moon is near the planet Venus. What a beautiful sight. If you have a binocular or you have a small smartphone that you'd like to take a picture, the evening of the 23rd, you'll see the moon and Venus in a very, very close conjunction. We find on the 26th that the moon is near the planet Mars. Mars is fading and now moving well past about 140 million miles away from the Earth. First quarter moon on the 27th, And then we find out as the end of this particular calendar month, don't forget, April the 29th is known as International Astronomy Day, and there are celebrations all over the world with these particular subjects. So don't forget, let's move now into month number 5, the month May 2023, and let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you can see, but particularly with the moon. We find out that the moon, as we move into May, reaches its full phase on the 5th, known as the beautiful full flower moon, another of the majestic full moons of 2023. And then we find out that the moon continues to move on to its first quarter phase on the 12th of May, moving back again to its new phase, which we find out happening on the 19th. So there's an opportunity there to see some amazing sights in our skies in May. The darker the moon is probably one of the best times to look for faint sky objects. Then the moon continues to wax in our skies and move on to first quarter phase by the 27th of May. But in between, we find out a lot of other interesting things that are happening, particularly with planets. Mercury was visible into our western sky toward the end of the month of April. It moves into the glare of the sun by the 1st of May. And then we find out that the beautiful planet itself, Venus, continues to shine brightly in our skies, making a very beautiful appearance all throughout the calendar month of May. So what other things can you see in our skies during this particular month, May 2023? I would suggest that around the dark of the moon, that is new moon, and that particular time is around the date of the 19th of May, get a pair of binoculars, and if you're in dark skies, scan the heavens because an amazing sight awaits you. Rising just around midnight into the southeast, we start to see the constellation Scorpius the Scorpion, and then following it, the most magnificent region in the sky in the zodiac, the constellation Sagittarius the Archer, where the heart of the Milky Way lies, some 27,000 light years away from us. We find the deep star clouds. And what's more fascinating than looking at that? I don't know. People have told me that's really a spiritual, like out-of-body experience, not exaggerating, when you see the darkness of the sky away from city lights in a pair of binoculars, looking at the nucleus and the core with all the beautiful star clouds of the Milky Way. If you have questions or comments, my email is simply drskyshow@gmail.com. And we're appreciative here, being on Talk Radio 77 WABC with John Catsimatidis and the Cats Roundtable. And then every other Wednesday, I'm joined with Frank Morano, and he's joined with me as we transfer just temporarily the other side of midnight into the infinite side of midnight, with great things to talk about, as you know, from the realms of astronomy, space, aviation, and weather, and so much more. And check out our Dr. Sky blog, where you see the listing for the Dr. Sky experience. I'm your navigator on the highway to the heavens, wishing you the best for health, clear skies, and happiness as we move around the sun, as Carl Sagan described the Earth as the pale blue dot, as we look out into the universe with great wonder. And the main reason for doing this is to expand our minds, to talk about things that not necessarily get talked about every day, with all the things down here with the 8 billion people that are running around on the planet. We all should take time out, breathe deeply, and look at the wonders of the universe, in my opinion. We'll see you next week.